Daredevil Season 2, Episode 9, 7 Minutes in Heaven. I think this was definitely one of the best episodes of the season. We got a crazy ending where apparently Nobu is alive because there's no such thing as death. So that was a great ending there with the weird blood farm. That's apparently what it is. It's just called the farm, but it's like some crazy blood farm thing. We got to see kind of right after season 1 exactly what happened to Fisk. Technically, before the end of season 1, because we got the last clip of him in the first season was him in the white outfit sitting in front of the wall, which was also different than the scene that they showed. It was a totally different prison, so that kind of threw me off a little, like, continuity's off. But a super nerd thing to even be concerned with. But it caught my attention because that was the point, and when they ended the first season was that it looked exactly like his house. But we got to see him like come in and he takes everything off and he has the cufflinks and stuff, and then we see him with, I guess, his lawyer or whatever, who kind of listens to him on the illegal front of things, and he helps him out. And we at least hear Vanessa's name. We don't get to see her, but she's got money to be protected, and Fisk has at least enough money to survive in prison. And we get what I really love is the official kind of the verbal confirmation of him as the kingpin, which I really love because the guy comes in, he's like, there's only one kingpin in prison. I was like, all right. They officially said it because they, hadn't said that in the first season at all. It was just Fisk, and that was it. And then all the craziness goes down, and then, he gets Frank out, or at least, makes a deal with Frank, which, of course, he betrayed him on, which led to the best. I shouldn't say it's the best just because it's an action scene, but it was a great action scene, which I wasn't expecting. We got just a really good Punisher scene where he's actually fighting people and not just fighting against Matt, which is like, it's cool when they fight one-on-one, but we got a fight that was insanely gruesome. I was like, holy crap. Like when he kicked I think it was the last person, and he kicked him and made him fall into the knife, and then he just went up and around his neck. I was like, holy crap. That was bloody. And then they cut to, he's pushing the guy off and it's kind of coming down on him. Whole face was just completely red. And I was like, wow, that was insanely bloody. But a great, great action scene. It was very cool to see him, like he's doing like all these combat rolls and stuff. And he's just taking all these different people down. He took one hit. Well, he got punched a couple times. But he took one major hit when he got stabbed in the arm. Other than that, he's just like destroying everybody else. Like I think he stabbed like half those guys or something crazy. Like he stabbed one guy who apparently had like a pool cue is what it looked like half a pool cue it looked like. And he just stabbed straight through that guy and killed him, stabbed somebody else with a knife. Apparently that last guy made like a tomahawk, because that's what that looked like to me, and he hit him in the head. That guy was dead. So, great action scene there. And then, when he and Fisk have that little fight, they have like just a little battle and stuff, and they're both just tired and just punching each other, and it's just like, whew, I'm tired. You look tired too, and they're just, that's it. It's fine. And Fisk lets him go. He's like, you go free. Basically, do what you want to do. Wipe out everyone that's out there. So when I get out, I'll win a war because I don't want to get out to wage war. I want to get out and win one. So it was just crazy how all that played out. And he knew. He was like, alright, if I try to take him down now, I just got a bunch of cops that'll kill me. Crooked cops, so he probably would have fought back. But, he knew he would have been taken down. He wouldn't have killed as many other random bad guys that are out there. Plus, he got his information, and so he has an official target now, the blacksmith. And I don't know what's going to come of that. I don't know who it's going to be. I would assume it's someone we haven't seen. But, I mean, there haven't really been that many people that have kind of come in and out. And I'm pretty sure the guy who helps Matt isn't the blacksmith. Although he could be. I don't think they've ever used that name. But it would kind of make sense because he makes stuff. But he doesn't seem like that type of guy. Like, even when they introduced him, he didn't seem like the guy who just killed people like he'd be in the drug trade for any random reason. And then on top of that, we find out that the John Doe that was covered up by the ME is actually an undercover cop. It was a huge sting operation, and then all the people knew what was happening. And then there's like, the head guy who was supposed to be there, he wasn't there. Whoever that mystery person was supposed to be, but the blacksmith was. just all this chaos. And so we have Frank, who knows all the craziness that went down with the sting, and then we have basically P.I. Page, who is now actually in Ben Urich's office, which I thought was actually a pretty cool scene. Very emotional. Like when she burst into tears, that really surprised me. But it was a really good scene, and she's kind of, she's in a very interesting role because she's not just Karen anymore. She's doing a lot of investigative work. There really isn't a Nelson and Murdoch anymore in this episode. They kind of, officially dispel that. So we'll see how it plays out because it's so close to the end of the season. I don't think they're just going to be like, oh, we fix all the problems. I mean, there's, I guess, enough time, but I just don't think that's going to happen, especially with the way this episode ended. And now it's like really getting into them going up against the Hand. Like, I thought it was kind of a big deal before, but now it's like, no, they still got quite a bit of time to ramp things up. And there's a scene from the trailer, which I won't say what it was in case you guys didn't see it, but really looking forward to that specific scene because there's a bunch of ninjas doing something cool. So there's some stuff that is yet to happen that's still going to go down. And we didn't see what happened with Stick. We don't know who this band is, who is, people are that he recruited. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. The ending with Nobu really surprised me. Like, when he first showed up, I was like, because just like Matt, I was like, nah. Like, it sounded like Nobu. And I was like, it could be, it sounds a lot like him, but it can't possibly be Nobu. He was on fire for a long time. Like, it wasn't like we saw him on fire for a little bit. He was on fire. We saw him, like, waving around like a maniac, and then he stopped because he was scorched. So I was like, all right, it kind of sounds like Nobu, but it's got to be somebody else. And then he dropped the little blade, and I was like, oh, works with the Hand. It's just kind of a callback because he's fighting someone just as powerful as Nobu. And then he was like, I hope you have the scars to remember me by. And I was like, that's Nobu somehow. And of course, no answer because he's like, you're dead. It's like, there's no such thing. He has the scarring and stuff. And I was curious if, once it was revealed that it was him, I was like, I wonder if he'll even have the scarring or if this is going to be like whatever they're doing even heals wounds and stuff like that. But he still has the scarring, but he's alive. And he was left there for a long time, too. So it's not like it was some simple little thing. Like, he was just there on fire for quite a while during that scene. So that wasn't something tiny. And they had to carry his body from that place to wherever they, put it. And he was dead during all that time, or at least he was supposed to be. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get an answer. But that was a crazy ending. Very nice surprise ending. Glad Nobu's in it because Nobu was the only person that Matt couldn't really take down. And plus, clearly the Hand in general, Matt can't exactly go up against. So it was kind of cool to see Nobu come back. Curious to see if Matt can really do anything to beat him, although he couldn't in this one. Like, he tried to. He stood up to him a little bit longer, which I think was solely due to the fact that, when he was getting cut up the first time, that's what led him to getting the suit, because he was like, okay, I got cut up, and then he tried to fight against Fisk, and he realized the blade kind of just skirted right past his chest, because he was wearing, like, the armor and stuff. So that's pretty much the only thing that was helping him, because he was doing this just like before. His arms would have been all cut up. I think the same thing happened where he got, like, stabbed in the stomach and stuff, except that time, because Nobu couldn't, like, get through the armor, he did, like, some crazy force push, and he did it, like, 3 different times during that fight, too, and he was, like, knocking him really far away, which, once again, made me think a lot of Madame Gao. But I don't know, like, that really surprised me. Certainly loved it, though. Very cool scene. Someone's in that big tank. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but somebody's in that thing getting a bunch of blood like Dracula or something. And he pushed this thing into an elevator and he just goes away and it ends. So I'm very excited for the next episode. Curious to see what Karen ends up doing. She might end up enlisting Foggy to try to get a little bit of extra help, kind of taking down Reyes. But I thought it was really cool that she's kind of continuing on. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna hate her because I know a lot of people hate Karen because it's like, oh, she got Ben killed and she got a bunch of people killed or whatever. But I'm always like, when people say that, I'm like, yeah, she totally shouldn't just you know, try to stop like these crazy secret organizations. She should just let everybody be evil and stuff. So that's how I always see it. Plus, she didn't get anybody killed. Ben knew what he was doing. Well, I guess in Ben's case, she kind of did get him killed because they went to Fisk's mom. So that was kind of a so-so sort of thing. You can kind of look at it that way, but Ben's a reporter. Like he was helping her that entire time. So I just never see it that way. But you know, everybody's always like, "Oh, she's getting people killed," and just like with Grotto, like her putting him in the hospital. Like no one would have thought, "Oh, this guy's gonna find out we have a fake name and fake wife and stuff." You wouldn't think anybody would be able to figure that crap out. Like it's just some crazy dude. But sometimes you never know what you're going up against. Of course, she's always in like the worst situation. Like nothing, even if she thinks of the smartest thing, she's in a crappy situation. But I like where they're taking in character. It is very interesting that they're doing sort of the investigative stuff with her. I don't think she'll end up becoming like an actual reporter or anything, but I guess it kind of depends on what happens with Nelson and Murdoch. They mentioned several times, like, you know, has she ever considered going to law school and stuff? So they're kind of doing a lot of foreshadowing, or they've done it. Excuse me, where it's like she's gonna be doing something else because they, even if they get Nelson and Murdoch back together, Karen will be their friend, but she's not gonna be their secretary anymore. She's gonna be something else. She's gonna be doing her own thing. And I think that's cool. I think she'd be a great PI, unless, you know, which would be a cool tie-in with Jessica Jones. Um, Oddly enough, she's doing more PI work than they did in Jessica Jones, which is really funny to me. Um, but I like where they're taking a character. I'm definitely excited to see just how crazy things get for her character. I think they're going to be bringing Reyes back, if not in this episode, the next, or if not in the next episode, then the one after, I would assume. But definitely looking forward to where they're going with everything. Um, it was great to see Fisk in this episode. Sadly, I think this is the only one that he's going to be in. I mentioned last time, like, I would assume he's going to be in every episode, and then it ends, and Frank is, you know, he walks out of prison. I'm like, I don't think there'd be any reason for them to really show what's happening with Fisk anymore. It would kind of be pointless. So now that I've rescinded this one, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. I don't think he's going to show up again, which there's a lot of stuff happening, so I guess he doesn't need to. He's clearly not the main villain, and he had a much shorter role than I was expecting, because I was like, there's got to be something with him, but he is in jail, so I guess it makes sense. Like, he would have to escape, and he couldn't be the kingpin that he is. Like, he's a bad guy, but he'd be like a flat-out 1A criminal if he just, you know, escaped from prison, so he'll probably be out next season, maybe the one after that. I don't know. We'll have to see what they decide to do with, you know, kind of the other seasons, or the other shows in general, Luke Cage and Iron Fist and, you know, Jessica Jones season 2, and how they're going to play those out. So we might see, you know, what happens with Fisk during those shows or something, which I think would be really cool. Like, oh, he escaped, and then boom, we know exactly what'll be the big deal for, you know, the next season of Daredevil. But it was a great episode with him. It was cool to see him in it. He got his little fight scene in when he and Frank were just beating up on each other. So that was pretty cool. He's taking over the prison now. He's going to be officially the kingpin, which I think is very cool that they even threw the name in there, because it was completely missing, you know, in the first season. So really cool to see him. Sucks if this really was just kind of his one episode. That kind of sucks, because he's a great character, and I like the actor that plays him as well. But hopefully he'll show up at least a little bit. But I highly doubt that there would be any reason for him to really kind of show up again, unless Frank goes back to prison, which I don't think that'll be happening either. But certainly love this episode. Definitely well done. Of course, want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I just gotta ask, what are your thoughts on the ending of this episode? What in the world is going on with whatever mystical thing they have? They have, apparently the cure for immortality is still an actual thing. I don't know if they took that from whoever's in the coffin, if that was the first person that founded the hand, and that was the person that found the cure for immortality, and they basically just siphoned it from them. They keep them alive, and then that person can, you know, spread out the cure to other people. But that was just crazy. I'm just excited to get the answer when I watch this next episode. But I definitely want to know what you guys think is going on with that, and of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.